Joni, Cruz, where's Cruz? Cruz, come on up here, would you? And Emmy, no, Joni, come on. Come on. So I just want you to know before these testimonies happen, 2 of them at least, that this isn't like encouraged. So it's not hype. Neither one of these people knew the other one had come up to me this morning. So I'm going to start with Joni.
So last week, actually about a month ago, my hand started hurting, and God started talking to me in my own one-on-one time with God, telling me that I had a bitter root. And I would ask him in prayer to show me what it was, but I didn't feel like I was hearing anything. And last Sunday, on our way to church, we're getting ready to start a new Sunday school. Cindy's going to do this book, and I was so excited. I even bought the book, even though I didn't even open it at all. And on the way to church, I was telling the girls that God told me I had a bitter root. My hand was hurting really bad, like I couldn't move it. It was really hard. And so right when we sit down, Cindy starts talking, and she keeps mentioning a bitter root. And I'm sitting there thinking, talking about unforgiveness as your bitter root. And I remember thinking, I'm talking to God the whole time going, that can't possibly be it. I don't have unforgiveness in my heart. And there's one specific person that's hurt me really bad. So I'm sitting there going, I forgave him. And I'm sitting there listening to Cindy, and then Cindy started talking about praying for your enemies. And God asked me when was the last time you prayed for him. And I was like, it's not that I don't want to pray for him. I just don't feel like it. You know, and I'm sitting there talking to God. So right afterwards, I walked up to Cindy and I said, Cindy, I just marched up to her too. I have unforgiveness in my heart for this person, and I don't want to pray for them. And she went, you know how she does that thing where she turns to the side and she goes, Joni? And I'm like, I know. And so I thought I was just going to admit it, and then I'm going to walk away. But she grabbed me and said, no, you're going to pray for this person right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I started praying, and before God, I said, I don't want to pray for this person. I don't want to. But I prayed for him, and then I think I'm done. And she's like, no, now ask God to forgive you for holding unforgiveness and being his judge. And I was like, and Cindy's my voucher. I was so overtaken by emotion that I did not want to do this, that I had to turn my head and gasp for air, like I started bawling. And then I prayed for him. I prayed, and I asked God to forgive me, and she laid hands on my forehead, and she prayed for me. But then she also mentioned Kayala, and she said, maybe this is the very thing that's holding her in bondage. And I've been thinking about this over and over in my head, right? Well, all through the week, I had a garage sale. I couldn't move this hand. And I even said to, I think, Cindy Joe yesterday, it's like I've been praying every day. Why is this still hurt? It must not be a bitter root. I even said that yesterday. So we're sitting up here, and I really believe this. I'm sitting up here, second song, and you know that song about he has the last word? I love that song, and I'm sitting here thinking about my daughter. I'd had a 2-second conversation with her outside. She's in church right now. She's ready to be back in Grace House. I'm going to go see her right now. But so I'm excited. She's excited about God. You know, I come in here and I'm making a decision. I'm going to leave and I'm going to go see her. Well, during the second song, my hand started being weird. It was being super weird, and I started going, what's wrong with my hand? Like, I think it's being weird. But look. So God completely healed my hand. And while I'm sitting there going, this is not right, I'm trying to hurt it to see, is it really, I'm hurt. I'm sitting there going like this, cracking my knuckles, going, this is bizarre. Completely healed hand, right? Well, then God said, how about, so for probably the last month too, I told this to Cindy, every single night, for no reason, I would be crying or like hysterical or psychotic. I'm not kidding, and I'm sorry if this embarrasses you, babe. But my husband was like, I don't know what's wrong with you. And I'm like, I don't either. But so since Cindy prayed with me and I prayed for Rob, and I've been praying for this man, even when I don't feel like it, I have not cried any night for a whole week. And I don't know if that's deliverance to me.
So for the past 2 or 3 months, I've been complaining to my wife about my right knee that I couldn't bend it down without pain. Like, it had hurt so much, and I didn't know why. Like, it started swelling. And my wife's been talking to me, you know, she goes, because we're going to go to California and see my family, which I was like, oh my God, you know, I have to see my brothers and sisters, and I just couldn't, I can't stand them, you know, just because I love them, but I can't stand them, you know. But it's she's been telling me, Cruz, you got to let go of that. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting here in church today, and I'm back there, and I'm telling God, I have this fear, I have this, I have that, Lord. I'm feeling this way. I'm just dumping on him completely to the point where, like, I blocked out the music, it's just me and him, like just me and him talking. And all of a sudden, after they started saying that this is how I find my battles, like, I came to, and then I just happened to bend down my knee on top of the chair, and I thought to myself, hey, this is weird. It's not hurting right now. And I told my wife, I'm like, I feel a little soreness, but it's not hurting. I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do this. And I'm like, now there's no pain. And I told God, I was like, God, you healed me, like, completely without even thinking about it, without even asking for it. By me just dumping on him, God just completely healed my knee. 2 or 3 months ago, I couldn't even bend down. I couldn't run. I couldn't do anything because there was so much pain and swelling. And then I touched my knee, and I'm like, dude, the swelling is gone. I can feel my bone. And I'm like, thank God, God is good. So if you have a healing that you need, just pray and just believe, and God will heal you. So, yes.
Several months ago, Don was having some spiritual problems, and some of you got some of the refuge from those spiritual problems. And so I was in a prayer group up on the mountaintop there where we were living, and I finally got brave enough to ask them to pray for Don. And what we prayed was whatever it takes. It taking a stroke. I was sitting here, I wasn't sitting, I was standing praising the Lord, and the Lord answered me. And he said, Emmy, says, you prayed whatever it would take, whatever it takes. And so consequently, this is what it's taking. He was, when he first had the stroke, they said find a hospice because they didn't have much hope for him. Now he's in a wheelchair, and he's able to take maybe 1 or 2 steps. But what was really causing his problems was his mouth. And he can't talk right now except to say yes and no. And sometimes that's confused. Whatever it takes. And I'm asking all of you, pray for whatever it takes. And then be ready for what it takes.